What's wrong with you people?
Welcome to Not Another Baptist Podcast. My name is Matt Inslee, the pastor of Plymouth Park Baptist Church, and I'm joined by Kyle, non-alcoholic beerman, the rural specialist for the North American Mission Board replant team, who is back from Kansas
City. Yep.
Which side? Missouri or Kansas?
I was actually in both of them at one point this
From
week.
Kansas City, Missouri, Kansas.
Yes.
Wait.
Where everything's up to date in Kansas City.
They
got about as far as they can go.
What's Bart's rule? It's Missouri if it's
Missouri.
Missouri if it's where? Is that Missouri or Missouri according to Bart? Bart, fill us in. You know.
Yeah, I don't know, but up there it's Missouri. It's what I've heard. So yeah.
Well, I think it's wherever Bart thinks that it's Missouri is Missouri too. But Bart is Bart. Bart beats or marches to the beat of his own landmark drummer. Anyway, Kyle, it is good to see you today. And I can't remember. This is Thursday, July the 11th. Did the Rangers win yesterday? Remind me.
No, they didn't. They did not win last night. However, they that's their only game that they've lost in the last week. I believe they had a 5-game winning streak. So it's been a good week.
Are you guys in?
We're still in third place, but we are creeping up on the Astros. Did the Astros win last night?
I haven't been able to see that. Well, this Saturday, I'm going to see them take on the two-time World Series champions, the Houston Astros. Kyle, will I be wearing my suit? Yes, I probably will. Actually, I think I will. I think I'm going to wear the suit.
Is that a Saturday night game or a Saturday afternoon game?
Saturday afternoon. Do you think this guy who goes to bed at like 9 o'clock is going to go to a Houston Astros game in Houston in the evening of a Saturday? Particularly that's a work night, man. That's the night before the only day that I work in the week.
It's true. I mean, you're still gonna have a late night. You're gonna miss your 8:30 bedtime.
I don't know. I drive fast. No. Anyway, hey, Kyle. A couple of things. Number one, it is good to see you. Number two, tell our good listeners how many episodes you recorded for the, I don't remember what
Revitalize and Replant podcast. Yeah.
Revitalize and Replant podcast. How many did you do?
From Monday morning through Wednesday morning, yesterday, we recorded 23 episodes.
Wow.
In about 48 hours time. So now those are, I mean, typically they run around 20 minutes. But it was a lot. We did 7 on Monday afternoon. We did 9 total across Tuesday, and then we actually got 7 done before noon yesterday. So I mean, Mark Halleck and Mark Clifton got in there and talked.
What I don't want to hear is your opinion about Kansas City barbecue. What I do want to hear are your ideas when it comes to power-ups for summer attendance. Now, many of our listeners will be in churches kind of like mine, Plymouth Park Baptist Church, medium-sized church, that kind of deal. Well, statistically, I guess technically large, but from large to smaller churches. And many of us during the summer, people go out of town. And if you're a church of 100 to 200 to 300, kind of like us, you see it. It's like everybody has this as a issue typically, unless you're in more of a resort town or a vacation town, particularly like Mayhill was, where our attendance boomed in the summer because everybody was flocking from Texas to escape 110-degree heat to go to our 70-degree heat in Mayhill, New Mexico. And so we always packed the pews during the summer, but most people, you see it, you feel it, you know it. Attendance tends to decline. Sometimes giving tends to decline, all of that kind of stuff. And so in the summer, of course, we normally have youth camps. And sometimes even I'm finding a lot of these youth camps are even going over the weekend. And so you lose all of your youth on the weekend because they forsake the gathering of believers. and so you run into that type of an issue. Other churches, of course, we have Vacation Bible School. Even have seen some churches that are doing church-wide Vacation Bible School, where you have the kids stuff obviously going on, but they also have maybe some discipleship stuff happening for adults that aren't volunteering and so forth, maybe that night or whatever it might be. Now, so we know camp, we know VBS, all of that. But what about some power ups when it comes to Sunday morning or Sunday evening or just the summer worship and the life of your church to maybe boost attendance just a little bit? And so I know some of our guys might be averse to event based programming and some of that kind of stuff. So this is inevitably going to be a little bit on that side of things. So just bear with us this week. This past Sunday at Plymouth Park Baptist, we did Blue Jeans and Bluebell. And the idea was we were going to have kind of country and Western worship, a little kind of Southern gospel worship, which inevitably meant we were going to do Nothing But the Blood, Victory in Jesus, I'll Fly Away. All of the staples that you can easily do with a boom chick. And we boom chicked it, baby. In fact, Dr. Duran Bug, our worship pastor, rocked a cowboy hat. He didn't know the entire time, but he came up with his Wranglers. He had him a nice little, almost a sequin black jacket. But he had a little black Stetson cowboy hat that he rocked during the fellowship time. Said, why don't y'all in the meet and greet time say, howdy, y'all, or howdy, partner, or just nod your head to them, tip your cat to them. We're glad you're here. Anyway, we did the entire service around kind of a country and Western, kind of laid back, old fashioned revival type meeting and had a blast. We packed the pews, had a great crowd in the worship gathering. And then after the service, we went to our fellowship hall and feasted on Bluebell. And so all we asked was that people would bring either a scoop or a bowl of Bluebell or a bucket of Bluebell, gallon, whatever you call it. And we just spread out several of our little circle tables in there and just threw on each table about 5 or 6 different flavors of Bluebell and a bunch of spoons and scoops and bowls and just said, go for it. And, we've got a little bit of a older congregation, so we put some chairs out there. But, dude, it was packed. That thing fits comfortably about maybe 170 or so. And it was kind of standing room only, and there just people kind of inching their way to different types of Bluebell, and some like saying, I've had 8 different flavors today. They were loving it. And so it was a simple power up that didn't really take a whole lot of effort beyond tweaking our music style a little bit that day, and obviously organizing some of our adults to essentially do a potluck ice cream social. And so it was a simple, easy thing. Brother, if you want to do that, it's Friday when you're listening to this. Next Sunday, you can pull that off.
Yeah.
And,
and here's the beauty of that, right? Ice cream socials are not a new thing. They've gone on forever. However, I dare say that in our current culture, homemade ice cream's kind of going by the wayside, right? I don't know how much that's a big deal.
Yeah.
And that's a whole lot of work on the folks who do that, right? So essentially you took that idea and you took all the work out of it. Hey, we're gonna have Bluebell. Now, did you have anybody that showed up with like Blue Bunny? Was there anybody that showed up with the off brands?
I didn't see Blue Bunny. I did see some Dryers.
Okay.
I did see some Brahms. And we did have a few that brought homemade, which I made a big deal about. I just sort of joke about, like in the welcome time, I'll say, if you're a guest with us this morning, we want a record of your attendance. So leave your name, number, and your credit card number on the card provided for you in the queue. Like always, like little stuff like that every once in a while. Well, for this one, I said, if you bring homemade ice cream, you get half off of your tithe. But if you brought Blue Bunny, you have to double your tithe. And so I just had some fun with that kind of stuff. Here, I will say, so let me just, those that are listening in, I know I have some of the church members that tune in sometimes. We killed it with the invite. Our good friend Matt Queen often talks about, has anybody told you today God loves you? That's kind of his easy go-to deal when he's out to eat. I've gone out to eat with him, and he's asked the waiter that and said, Matt would love to tell you how God loves you, and puts you on the spot with sharing the gospel. So I have taught that to our church. And so this is a quick little sidebar. Has anybody told you God loves you? They say no. Let me tell you how. God loves you so much that he sent his one and only son to live a perfect life for you, die a sacrificial death for you, rise again victoriously for you, and will save you if you turn to him in faith. I've said that now 1,000 times, and it takes like 15 seconds. If you want to hear more about that, I'd be delighted to answer any questions, talk to you about it, or here's my card, or here's an invite, whatever. So that's what we've taught our church to do. Here's what's great, Kyle. We've got a Kroger right by the church. A lot of our church members live around here. And on Saturday, we had a member go in there at like 4 in the afternoon to get some ice cream and a scoop and I think some bowls or something. And she goes to the cashier and she says, I'll just say, Kyle, has anybody told you today God loves you? Yes. Somebody from a church around here just came by and has all of these cashiers have said the same thing. And it's this church right up the road from us, Plymouth Park Baptist Church. And she was like, well, I go to that church too, and we would love for you to come. And so like our church
phenomenal.
killed it at the Kroger. And so when I announced that on Sunday, I said, okay, we done did it at Kroger. So let's move to Albertsons. Let's go to another church. Anyway, these are easy ways because you can put something in the hand of your, so if it's and we'll talk about some of these different ideas. Think of some things that would make it easy for those that are going to be there to invite somebody to come to another idea. So the ice cream social, that's all ours really was. Yep. We, added kind of that bluegrass or Southern gospel flair to it, but maybe a summer movie night or whatever, or a music concert, or just a night of worship, something that is kind of a low stress level invite that anybody can say, hey, this Sunday or this Friday or this Sunday night or whatever it is, we're doing blank. Love for you to come.
So, yes, the movie night, I've done that before. That's a good way. There's going to be a little bit of expense to that if you do it legally to make sure that you get the right licensing. For the sake of this podcast that's going out, you should do it legally. Yes. That you
please do it legally.
But so I mean,
the
a little
CCLI
bit
does not cover you.
but you can set up, I mean, a bed sheet and a projector and a sound system and make popcorn. I mean, you can do that really cheaply. Have folks bring their own lawn chairs. And then here's the thing: for 2 hours, you have people on your church campus that you get to walk around and mingle with.
Get
some other really simple things you can do that people will show up for. You get some cornhole boards together, put together a summer cornhole tournament. I heard, Matt, have you gotten into pickleball yet? Have you bought into the cult that is pickleball? Okay. So I've started playing some pickleball a little bit here and there.
You're old.
Yeah, I felt it after playing a couple of nights. But when we were out at Linwood, Kansas, right, this church that Mark Clifton replanted, he was telling me that when they do some community-wide stuff, the church has a couple of nets that they'll set up, like, and this is a town of like 300 people. Okay, so they like close off a street, and they'll just set up their nets like in the street, and folks will come out and play pickleball in the street. You can spend $300-400, get several pickleball sets, and set that up if you have a church gym, your parking lot, whatever. Man, you get to host a pickleball tournament, and that thing is catching on like fire all over the place. It's a lot of fun, pretty simple game. And again, you're gonna have folks show up who would never come to your church before, but if you say, hey, we're gonna do a pickleball tournament, man, folks will come. Easy, right? I mean, again, a little bit of expense, but you're gonna have stuff that you can do multiple events throughout the year. I mean, that's a real easy way to do it. Another thing that one of the churches I served did, we would do some softball tournaments throughout the year. We lived in one community where that was kind of like a fundraiser for, like, if there was somebody in the community that needed like had a medical need or something like that, they would host a softball tournament and raise thousands of dollars because all these teams would show up. If that's a thing where you are softball, man, you can get together, get one of your fields, do a tournament. You're going to have folks show up to that, right? So you can do that on a Sunday night. Hey, this is hosted by, your church. Here's why we're doing it. We're trying to raise money for some sort of maybe one of your local charities that your church is supporting. But again, that can be a boost. Get your church out there in the community, give you a chance to interact with folks that you're not going to see, and then Yeah, I mean that's something you're probably not going to do on your church campus. Pickleball, movie nights, you can do those somewhere around your church campus and get have the opportunity to interact with folks at your church that you probably wouldn't on a regular basis. Um, Matt, I'm blown away by your blue jeans and blue bell. Like that was a brilliant stroke of genius. I don't know if that was you or if that was somebody else, but that was a brilliant idea.
Mm, me, baby.
Well,
Uh,
that's because you wanted an excuse to wear jeans and eat ice cream. That's what you wanted on a
I
Sunday morning.
I rotate the jeans every once in a while in, but I mean we do have some folks that still dress pretty. We have several suits and all of that kind of stuff. So I do regularly wear a suit, usually about every 3 weeks. That's kind of my rotation, and then
And do
usually.
you have like millennial guys showing up in shorts and t-shirts?
But we
Is that,
do
is that
have that too, and
okay?
I
Yeah, love
I
it.
can't pull
Love
off the shorts and the t-shirt.
it.
And so for me, I still do feel somewhat, and I prefer to be in a suit. I mean that's probably my preference to a degree. I feel better. I don't do the tie. I don't like a tie, but I like the suit. And anyway, always going to have a coat. This gave me an excuse to rock the jeans and not even think twice about it. And I was super impressed that I don't think I saw a soul without jeans on. Like we did that really well,
That's phenomenal.
and it was just fun. Now here's another neat thing, and then I'll give you my big idea or big other idea is one of our drummer is the drummer for Charlie Pride, and
Well,
so
was the drummer
what
for Charlie.
R.I.P. But anyway, he obviously was loving it. And then the pianist plays regularly at Billy Bob's in Fort Worth and some of that. So that was like this was up
For
their alley.
for
Like
for the uninitiated, tell everyone what Billy Bob's is.
it's a Christian club, and
It is. I think it was at one point the world's largest honky tonk. It
the
may still
honky
be
tonk baby.
a honky
That's
tonk.
the last time I went there. I looked like
So,
a fool trying to dance. Number one, and then I did not last 3 seconds or whatever on the bull named Fu Manchu or whatever. I fell off that mechanical bull very quickly,
that's funny.
and was glad when I did.
So you've got. I mean, you've got like world class musicians then in your stuff. I mean,
And
those are
world class
pros.
pastor, baby. No, the next idea I got this one. You got a couple of weeks to pull off, and that is think about back to school. A lot of youth are going to do back to school bashes, all of that kind of stuff. But maybe on the Sunday before the start of school, the Sunday of the start of school, the Sunday after the start of school, maybe after Labor Day, somewhere in there, think about reaching out to your local or the closest local independent school district or public schools, whatever it might be, or area private schools, whatever are close. Your context is going to be different. Your mileage will vary, but in our case, we've got the IISD building like across the highway from us. And so I've got several friends with the superintendent, associate superintendent, all of that kind of stuff. And so we're reaching out to them to invite all of the administrators, all of the teachers, and ultimately
Good.
the schools for a time that they can come to worship, be a little simpler Sunday, that kind of deal. And then we're going to have a time during the worship service to pray for them and pray over them and to pray for the upcoming school. And so that's another one of those easy, that's going to be a very narrow invite situation where you're
Right.
actually trying to go to a particular school or a district or whatever to hone in on them for that particular day. And then leading up to that, you could have a drive to gather school
Yeah.
supplies or
Yeah.
whatever. And so think through the start of school and how you could maybe have a Sunday or even a week of service leading up to it. Is there something you need at your school? Maybe bless that school near you or the closest one to you with stuff in their teachers' lounge, or
Yeah.
they know of students that really struggle to get the 20 boxes of Kleenex and four
Yeah.
packages of dry erase markers and 10 bottles of Germex
Yep.
for their teacher. Um, how you can help them with that. So
Yeah, and one thing we did in Alamogordo, we had an elementary school that was about block or two away from our church, and like in late September, maybe early October, so they were a month or so into the school year. Um, I went to the principal and I just said, "Hey, where are I know you had your like school supply list at the beginning of the year. Where are those gaps? Like, so where are some of the things that you always need more of that you never get enough of? And it was like Clorox wipes and Kleenex and stuff like that. So our church did a drive just kind of fill in those gaps. Um, Not a huge expense overall, right? But something really simple, and we were able to take a ton of stuff over there just to bless the local school. And again, that's going to help establish a relationship, right? Especially if you have a school right in the neighborhood of your church. You want to make sure that they know your church that your church loves them, and that they can call your church when there's a need, and you will do whatever you can to help reach that. That's great.
Yeah. If you do this, I know some guys kind of sometimes even completely break off from their normal sermon series and kind of regular events and so forth during the summer just to get away from all of that kind of issue. But it's a great time to maybe, as you're going to go back into one of those series or start a new series, maybe with the school year, a lot of guys just kind of follow that calendar, maybe thinking that Sunday prior of what can I do for a big push for an invite, basically to low-hanging fruit, because like, yes, we would love for our entire churches to be active evangelists and ambassadors wherever they go. And every day they're going to be telling everybody that they're around that Jesus will save them. And here's the Roman road and all. That's what we would love to have happen. Very rare is that going to be the case. But getting a little postcard or a business card or a little placard or whatever into the hands of your entire church. What we always do is we put them on the pews and say, hey, if you're willing to take them, grab them. And rarely do I ever have them still on the pew when we're done.
That's great.
They all pass them out, and or they all take them and throw them away. That's perfectly possible. But
it's a possibility.
It is also possible that they take them, and the idea is whether you work or you're going to eat or you're just going home, you are going to come into contact with somebody between now and Blue Jeans and Bluebell. Give this to them with a friendly smile. How can I pray for you? Or, hey, we just love for, like, simple. Like, you don't have to go through the whole gospel presentation, all that kind of stuff. I always joke, I said, if you want, extra credit on your tithe, blah, 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 like, yes, by all means, go through the entire gospel presentation. But, hey, just get this out there. And they do. And so simple things that your entire church can be involved in. Your kids, our daughters were taking them, dropping them. Well, I did tell them that they broke the law because they took them and started stuffing them in mailboxes.
Oh yeah, that is not legal.
Get them out. And so then they started knocking on doors. They got to our neighbor across the street, dripping in sweat. It's like 100 degrees. They asked, I did not tell them to do it. I said to go home. They said, no, we want to pass these out. So they go. That lady felt so bad for them because their pastor dad was making their daughters invite the entire neighborhood to go to church, that they came. I kid you not. That was their reason for coming. We felt so bad that you had made them do that. I said, I did not. It was dripping in sweat to my house, and I thought you would make them do that.
That's fantastic.
They wanted to. But anyway, simple things that your people can get involved in, love to be a part of, low-hanging fruit for your people to maybe give you a little bit of a power up during the summer when sometimes things tend to go down. So we love you. Hope that you have a great summer. We also hope that your AC is working. And then Kyle, give us some final thoughts and send us out.
Yeah. The last thing I would say is find the rhythm in your community. So there may be kind of like a big summer weekend in your community, a homecoming thing, something like that, a big celebration. Capitalize on that. Be involved in it as much as you can. Until next time, be sure to, here you go, Matt, kiss an angel good morning, if you understand that reference. That's a Charlie Pride reference. There you go. And until next time, may your coffee be as black as night and as bold as the gospel you declare. I'm going to go up to that man on Sunday and give him a kiss on the cheek. Say, I just wanted to kiss Nate.
What's wrong with you people?